Hi and welcome to the Cult TV Sofa. This is a reaction video of the 8th episode of Season 2 of Babylon 5 called A Race Through Dark Places. Last time we saw a man arrive on B5 called Stoner, who seemed to have psychic abilities to influence people's minds. We discovered he was Talia Winter's ex-husband. We also saw Londo gather his 3 wives on the station with the intention of divorcing 2 of them. One of them tried to kill him with a gift she brought him. Another thought they should just let him die when he was critically ill. And the third secretly gave her blood to transfuse to Londo to save him. Londo chose to stay married to her because although she was arguably the most annoying, he always knew where he would stand with her. Stoner tried to use his powers to force Talia to go with him and leave the station, but Garibaldi used his subtle ways to stop him. It ended with Psi Corps requesting his return, even though he had officially left the Corps years earlier. Oh, and Len was having a bad hair day. I can relate. So let's see what happens in this episode. I'm going to put any relevant trivia that I find over here, and at the end of the reaction I'll be discussing what happened and my thoughts about it. And I'm going to start it in 3, 2, 1.
The larger the living quarters, the more Earth can charge for rent. They want us to relocate to smaller quarters or start paying rent. 30 credits a week, starting immediately. You and me, yes. Everyone else is pretty much decoded.
I don't know how much they get paid, so I don't know how much 30 credits is. I don't know how the financial systems work on Babylon 5. So you're talking 120 credits a month, roughly. No idea if that's a lot or not. But it's a bit off. They wouldn't be told it would be immediate. They'd be given a warning and time to plan. It wouldn't be something that happens immediately. And their quarters aren't huge, especially. I can't remember how big Ivanova's is, but certainly Sheridan's isn't that big. Comparable with the ambassador's quarters, I think. And as the commander of the station, I think he's justified in having a decent-sized quarter. He needs somewhere to relax and to wind down.
I am not paying the rent, and neither are you.
She hasn't got much choice, has she? So it's Mars. It'll be more populated.
You were raised by the Corps.
So he's a telepath.
We are your father and your mother. Don't force us to do this.
That sounds like an abuse tactic.
We know there's an underground railroad helping unregistered telepaths.
I've never experienced it, but yeah, someone saying, you know, I love you, don't make me hurt you, sounds like a typical kind of abuse thing to put it onto the victim. That's their fault. It's pretty horrible. It sounds like a very standard tactic from Psycop, anyway, from Bester.
There has to be a central clearinghouse for the underground railroad. Where is it?
Wonder where that's going to be.
Face was white as snow.
So he's trying to clear his mind by focusing on the rhyme. Whoa.
He's dead.
Doesn't matter. I caught it. Just before he died. Babylon 5.
It's obviously horrible what he just did. He shredded his mind to get information, but I liked the visual way it was done from a filming point of view. He was obviously using his mind, but he used his hand as well, and then he caught the thought he was trying to get. That's very clever. And then to sort of have it like that, and then shaking his hand, and he got it, and then it's here. That was very cleverly done. Nice bit of filming. Again, we haven't seen Kefir much, have we? I think we've seen him in like 2 episodes. We're on episode 8 now. He seems a very pointless character, and I know he was forced on J. Michael Straczynski by the studios, I think.
Well, if you need a place to stay, I've got a spare cot at my place.
You've got a spare cot.
Yeah, how have you got a spare?
Well, I requisitioned it for medical purposes.
Oh, has he requisitioned it for medical purposes? So any really beautiful women who get admitted to the med lab, he can take them back to his place to recuperate. Because we've seen that before, haven't we? That's even worse. That's so dodgy. That just adds to my feelings for him at the moment.
I was wondering if you could help me better understand what it is to be human.
That's a big thing.
What would you suggest?
Dinner?
Dinner? All right. I'll set it up and get back to you.
Sounds like a date.
One day they're shooting at you, the next day they're taking you out to dinner. What a universe.
It's pretty much the same now, isn't it? So that's my dates.
Smuggling unregistered telepaths away from Earth to the outer colonies where the Corps can't reach them. Is that unregistered telepaths are a security risk. We believe the Underground Railroad is operating through Babylon 5.
Now, the obvious thing here is if they're being shipped to the outer rim where they're out of the way and away from everybody, how can they be a security risk? But I assume the argument would be, yes, they might get shipped out over there, but then over time they might come back. And then they become the security risk because, you know, they don't know who they are. They could be getting information when they're walking around. But, I mean, if they say on a colony far away, happy, living their lives, and they stay there, what's the risk? They're not under control of Psycor. That's the risk.
So we're obliged to uphold the laws of Earth Alliance. It doesn't mean we have to like it. And if there is some kind of illegitimate travel going through here, it's a threat to station security, and we have to know about it.
So they have to follow the laws of the Earth Alliance, which makes sense, but Earth Alliance won't take prisoners from Babylon 5. We saw that somebody was sentenced to because they murdered somebody, and they didn't know what to do with them. They couldn't jail them on Babylon 5. They haven't got the space. Earth wouldn't take them. So it's a kind of, they have to follow the rules, but it kind of works one way, not both ways by the looks of things.
All right, give him whatever help he needs, but keep an eye on him.
Don't think you'll tell Garibaldi twice.
I suggest you check the files on Mr. Bester. We had a few problems with him last year. You might want to find out a little bit more about who you're dealing with.
I'd want a personal briefing on that, to be honest. Susan was there. Yes, you could read the file, but I'd want her to tell me, especially those two, because they trust each other. He trusts Susan's opinions and points of view, so yeah, I'd want her to tell me directly.
Are you scanning me?
I'd only do that if I suspected you were doing something inappropriate.
Nah, I bet he's always scanning everyone.
What's wrong?
Oh, she didn't pick it up.
They're here.
So was that aimed at him, or was it just so loud that he heard it? Because he's constantly scanning and checking when he shouldn't be.
I saw him.
Did he sense you?
I don't know. Maybe.
So he was a telepath, and he saw Bester.
We have to kill him.
Is it just Bester that's there? There's normally as a partner as well. Why is everyone staring?
Something I can do for you?
Yeah. I can some people perhaps glancing, but not the way everyone just did it then.
What would you like to start with?
Start with? What would you recommend?
Just trying to think, have we ever seen her have a meal before? Don't think we have. I don't know what sort of I can't remember what they eat, the Minbari. I think they have simple tastes, don't they? But also I don't know what her change has done to her. Has it changed the way her insides as well? I mean, it says she's kind of midway between a human and a Minbari. Actually, no, they haven't said that. I think she is more human than Minbari. She kind of looks bit more Minbari. That's the sort of the joining, isn't it? That she becomes more human. So I assume she has human digestive system and everything. But don't know. She's not going to know what she likes then, probably. What she wants. It's experimentation.
Next round's on Mr. Garibaldi! Come on, you know the rules. No official business inside Earhart.
Oh, I know, but I was kind of hoping to talk to you on the QT.
Mm-hmm.
Oops. Yeah.
Why don't you link her then and get her out? If he knows the rules.
Look, Michael, there's no love lost between me and the Psy Corps, but I've got nothing to do with this.
An operation like this couldn't work without support from someone inside the station. I figured it was you.
Certainly someone you'd consider.
When I think of Minbari, I don't generally think of them laughing.
In Temple, we spent one whole year just learning how to appreciate humor. This must seem very strange to you.
Back on Earth, we have the Laughing Buddha.
As our representative on Babylon 5, it occurs to me that we should know each other a little better. Perhaps you'd join me for breakfast tomorrow morning.
Well, at least it was breakfast tomorrow, not an aperitif tonight. Or a nightcap.
I am becoming. Becoming what?
This is the previous episode. Psycho had experimented on him.
Say goodbye.
And enhanced his abilities.
I give you a gift.
Yeah, we haven't seen much about that. So he seemed to enhance her abilities where she could now... She was telekinetic, she could move objects with her mind as well. Whoa.
Been in my mind twice today. Why hasn't he seen this?
Maybe her powers enhanced to block him. Tell you what, she'd be a good assassin, wouldn't she? Where she could just not have any weapons, just walk around if she needs to kill someone. Find a penny, pick it up all day long. You'd be able to kill someone with the with the penny. That's not quite how it goes, but yeah, she's quite a vicious gift to have in the wrong hands. I think your stand has backfired.
Your quarters and mine have been sealed until we either move to smaller quarters or begin paying rent on the bigger ones.
And just before he died, he cracked. We can't afford to do it again.
Mary had a little lamb. Her fleece was white as snow.
So by chanting that, like I said earlier, and focusing on that phrase, it just doesn't let any other thoughts leak out.
Comfortable?
That's the theory.
Couldn't be better.
Good.
Sleep in his office.
Who's there?
Kosh.
Kosh who?
Gesundheit.
Pay the money.
Almost ready. In position.
They're going to try and kill him.
Made it. Made it.
Get down!
It's a bit silly of them, though. I mean, they know his abilities and his powers are probably greater than theirs. They shouldn't have been having those kind of telepathic thoughts. They need to have made like a signal or something, and they need to have gone in and probably even chanting that rhyme in their heads. He might have picked that up and known it was them straight away because it was a blocking technique. But they shouldn't have been communicating with each other. That was silly. They should have just gone in, tried to keep their minds as clear as possible and not thinking about what they're going to do, and then at the right second they have a signal to then try and kill him. Yeah.
What about Talia?
As far as I know, she got out.
You mean you haven't heard from her since the attack?
God, no.
She doesn't know anything that could hurt me or the Corps.
Doesn't get it, does he?
They don't know that.
Too risky. She's with the Psy Corps.
You have to kill her before she identifies us.
God, can you imagine waking up and having all these people just staring at you?
We don't want to hurt you. We will if we have to, but we don't want to.
The Corps is here to protect you.
Just heard from the people running the Underground Railroad. They want to arrange a meeting between you and the head of the operation. Just you, nobody else.
He wrote the Senate, the media, until one day when they came to give him his injection. Never woke up.
The Corps doesn't murder its own.
I was there.
Plus, we've seen differently. We saw at the beginning of the episode, Bester killed that telepath for the information.
I'm putting a team together now. We'll pick you up at your quarters in an hour, and we'll go in together. That's together. Clear?
Of course.
He'll be on his way now.
One night, I woke up. Something soft over my face. Felt hands lifting me out of bed.
4 weeks later, I discovered I was pregnant.
Oh my God.
When she was born, they took her from me.
It's hard to believe an organisation could get away with all this. But if any organisation could, they could, with their abilities. Well, that's not good water leaking like that, especially water's a scarce commodity on Babylon 5. That's a big thing to ask the captain to meet in a place like that.
Well, don't you think your presence might scare off the guy who's running this operation?
He's the guy running the operation.
Not really, considering I am the guy running this operation.
And I think you should listen to him. I think you should listen to all of them.
So she's come round, and they're going to repeat their stories to him now to persuade him.
They were filtered into Babylon 5 on business visas, changing records without anyone from MedLab knowing about it.
Thing is, that's pretty horrible as well. I mean, yes, they don't want to be in Psychor, but I'm quite sure they want to live an ordinary life. But they're not. They've been forced to leave Earth, and they're going to have to go somewhere they don't want to go, and be with people they don't know, leave all their friends and family. I mean, they're spending their lives on the run. I mean, that's not good either. It's not really the full answer to the problem. I know it is the only option available to them, though, if they don't want to be in the Corps and don't want to take the drugs.
And whether I like him or not, I'm a soldier. I am honor-bound to obey the law.
Yeah, it's put him in a bad position.
If I don't turn you in, I'm an accomplice.
Yeah.
No. There's a third option.
He's coming.
So yeah, he didn't wait for Garibaldi. If he thinks there's loads of telepaths, though, how is he going to take them all on his own?
You'll destroy them inch by inch as a lesson to the rest. But what happens when the gloves come off?
Ooh.
Don't force me to...
They kind of combining all their powers. That's the thing, going on his own was a terrible idea. There's so many of them.
Someone is fighting us. You!
No!
They were all unarmed. Well, okay, not all of them unarmed. One of them's got a gun there, but most of them were unarmed.
You had me going for a moment there. We'll, of course, deny all knowledge of this unfortunate incident.
Blimey.
I don't suppose anyone would like to tell me what just happened.
What did you see?
Bester came down the hallway, then he stopped. He stared for a moment. Then he smiled and went back the way he came.
They forced the image into his head.
He won't press the issue because he doesn't want to be linked to a bunch of dead bodies.
Yeah.
And no more Underground Railroad.
Babylon 5's gotten too hot for it.
Don't know, part of me thinks that actually Bester's going to think it's finished on Babylon 5 now, so it's actually a good idea to keep it going through there, at least in the short term, while she's looking for something else. It's good cover if he thinks everyone is dead.
You get your people out of here, and I don't want to see any of them around here again. Clear?
Clear.
I'd still want to have words with the doctor, though.
Anything like this ever happens again, I will personally turn you in and let them hang you out to dry. Understood?
You know too much. If Bester scans you, he'll... Can you keep him out?
I think so.
We did back there. Shouldn't have worked, not with that side cop.
So she's very powerful.
You can sleep in your own quarters tonight.
They gave in?
No.
You gave in?
Not exactly. I'm deducting 60 credits per week from the budget set aside to maintain combat readiness and applying it against the rent.
On what grounds?
On the grounds that I'm not ready to fight anybody
Unless you've
until
had
I've had
sleep.
a decent night's sleep in my own damn bed.
But he has basically reduced the budget for combat readiness for everyone else, though. So it is a bit... I understand why he's done it, and I actually agree. I mean, they do need to be able to sleep properly and have their own relaxation and everything to be combat ready and look after the station. So it is... that contradicts what I'm about to say, so I suppose it is justified. But it is kind of like they've used it, because only those two were affected. They've used it to help themselves, and other people, like the fighter pilots and everything, might suffer because of it. but
Well, I'd better get back. There's always a mountain of paperwork waiting for me.
yeah, 15 murders will do that for you.
See you next time, Ms. Winters.
Looks a bit rattled. He's trying to scan her, and he's not getting anything. Yeah.
I bring gifts.
Miss Winters is late.
Miss Winters still, not Talia.
Unless my being here offends you.
No, you don't offend me.
The core.
But that does.
Yeah. Huh, that's a good shot. So is she just taking it off there because Susan didn't want the core in her quarters? By taking it off, she's separating them from the core. I'm assuming as soon as she leaves the quarters, she's going to put that back on. She's going to have to look like she's still part of the core. She can't leave it off. Yeah, it was a good episode. It's good to see Bester again, bringing a bit of mayhem to the station. It's quite scary that I know he didn't, but that he thinks that he can kill so many people and then just leave the station with no repercussions. That's pretty horrible. As far as he's concerned, he did that, so he's happily just leaving with no problems whatsoever. I find it a bit hard to believe that he would try and scan Talia and not pick anything up. He looked rattled by that, and he'd just leave and that'd be it. The fact that he can't pick anything up from her, he's going to know something's up there. We've seen what he's like. He's all about the investigation and tracking down rogues and everything. If he can't detect or pick up anything from her, and he should be able to because she's a much lower rating than he is, P rate him, he would be at the very least investigating or calling her back to Earth or something. It just wouldn't be left like that. He wouldn't leave it like that. I do think the Doctor got away too easily. I know technically he's doing it for the right reasons, but especially Sheridan doesn't know the Doctor very well. This is only episode 8. He's not had that much interaction with the Doctor so far. It's not that they're best mates or anything. I'd find it very hard to trust him. Plus, if he's got the time to organise an underground railroad, maybe he needs to be taking more responsibility in MedLab and doing more work, because that'll just take a huge amount of work. And if he's also got the I don't say ability, that's not the right word, but powers, ability isn't, again, not the right words, but to authorise and to organise the railroad, I'd be looking at how he's doing that as well. How's he getting people through security and that sort of stuff? Because that might indicate the security breaches on the station that need to be plugged up by Garibaldi. So, yeah, he got away a bit too easily with that. Yeah. And also, well, we don't know what Talia powers are. We know she can move things, and say she flung that penny into the wall and it embedded itself. So she's obviously fairly powerful. And they said that their mind trick, where they all linked hands, shouldn't have worked. It was her who tipped the balance. So she's obviously, well, certainly above P12 in rating by the looks of things now. Yeah, so we don't know what she can do. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see future episodes, whether she still wears the core badge and how she behaves now. She knows all that. Yeah. So let me know what you thought about this one in the comments below, and I shall see you for the next episode. Be seeing you.